watching this video. Today I will be explaining the engineer. The engineer is actually quite forward. His role is to keep the ship from going. Keep the ship going, actually. Haha. I am captain on this team, but I can also perform engineer role, so I will. The engineer station always looks like this. You have your auxiliary. I don't know how you can pronounce that. Auxiliary reactor configurations. And on this screen, you can turn all. Well, they're quite necessary. You can turn things off to get some extra power, as you can see. You have your advanced fusion your reactor screen, in which you can determine which station gets power. This is total usage. Yeah, it counts for all the above. And here you can decrease power to engineering, so the ship will fly slower. If you decrease power to science, the sensors will not be that good. The viruses will have a bigger range, I think. Stuff like that. Shields, the lower it is, the slower it regenerates. And weapons, the lower it is, the slower they recharge. This is a jump computer. It's on every ship the same except for the new Paladin. Here you can charge warp drive, so you can warp from sector to sector. This is only unlockable by captain, and you can perform a blind jump if needed or if you want to. Okay. The engineer's part is actually hard. Yes, it can be hard, because every ship has two engineer stations. I think every ship has two engineer stations. One on the bridge, or close to the bridge, which I always prefer because you can see what's going on outside. But there's always another station at core. Always. And this is where also the shield generator is. Here you can turn off the shield and turn it back on for when you're entering repair stations. Or else. Yes. The engineer is responsible for the warp drive. Yes. The engineer is responsible for the jump. The engineer is responsible for the heat. Look, ship can overheat, and it's the engineer's responsibility to not to. Or to go in overdrive and maintain that overdrive. We'll get to that later. Yes. The engineer's responsibility is fuel. Yes. And the coolant also. The coolant can cool down the reactor. Yes, when it's way up there, like getting really hot, you can turn on high coolant, which will decrease coolant very, very fast. Low coolant, and turn it off. Don't forget to turn it off. You can play around with this a lot, because you don't want your reactor to overheat, but sometimes you do, because it gives you a state of overdrive and gives you bonuses on everything on the ship. Everything. Guns, shields, everything. Fuel. Always load fuel. When it doesn't say unloaded, load it. Yes? The scientist has programs. It needs fuel. Yes, this one needs 3 fuel charges actually. This one needs 5, this one needs 3. It can run programs. Yes, viruses, defensive programs, etc. But if it uses one of these, I don't know if this works. Yes, this will empty. You can fill it up in battle. Yes, you can, if you have a good engineer, because he will be in the back. Yes, and he will load a fuel, pump it in, load one again, so it's always loaded, and ta-da! It's back. Yes, have a lot of fuel, have a lot of viruses. Okay. To go in overdrive, yes, which means your reactor is too hot, actually. Everything on this screen will turn red, which means you're in overdrive. Your stability will drop. When it reaches 50%, it will blow up your core. I think 50%. Under 50% is dangerous. Yes, that's the threshold. Maybe it's 30, I don't know. I just keep 50. And you can cool it down with these, and of course like this, or like this, whatever you want. But to get an overdrive, you need to turn this off. Core safety toggle. Because if you do not, your ship will turn itself off completely when hitting this max. Yes, you don't want that. You don't want to go mid-battle and your ship turning off. You don't want that. So always turn this off. Yes, but if you do, keep the heat in your eyesight. Because if it overheats and the stability drops lower than 50%, you will lose your core. And if you're not fast enough to eject it, you will lose everything. You'll lose your ship, your crew, and your honor. Okay. That's settled. The engineer has a lot of bonuses to add to the team. Look at this. Talents. Let's get to the engineer. This is a good. I'm sorry. This is a high level ship. This is my best, I think. This is not my best. This is the wrong save game, I think. I don't know. This is my best ship, but it's not the right save game. I have a lot of talent points and stuff, so yeah, look. The engineer. Auto repair module is quite important, because when your stations take damage, these stations, it will auto repair itself. Yes, which is pretty good, because else you'll have to run with your repair gun. Oh my god, things are messed up. With your repair gun to these stations, and if you have high auto repair, you'll be running a lot less. So this is only power for when you drop these. Yes, so it'll give you extra 10% or what, I don't know. Custom coolant, very important. As you can see, 8% less coolant per rank. Extraction for the extractor, of course. Anti-fire growth, reaction calibration. These are all things you can learn by completing science. What do you call them? Science thingies. These shizzle manizzle here. Yes. And are there any? Yeah, warp charge boost, turret cooling optimization, reactor cooling specialist. It's pretty good. Engineer is important. My bot engineer always just sits on a turret actually, because as a captain, when I go solo, I do the engineering as well. It's not a bad job. What else? Engineering. He's the one responsible for repairment, I think. I know the scientist will do this as well as a bot, but as a player team, I would say the engineer does that, because he has the time, actually. He... The captain and the engineer check all systems constantly, I hope, and the captain and the engineers are the one who have time to run around, in my opinion. And I prefer when they repair, not the scientist. The scientist is needed. Yes. Anything else on the engineer? Let me check. Of course, the engineer is capable of upgrading. I don't know. Let the captain do this. Captain decides. It's the captain's ship, so yes. Anything else? Some tips maybe. Some tips. This was a good tip. And always set to max. Always set these to max. And when you're seeing that it overheats too easily, then drop it. Not the other way around. Don't start like this and then watch what your maximum is. Always start at max, because it's not a bad thing to overheat. As I said, you get a bonus. You just have to watch the stability. So I always start off like this, and when I'm out of coolant and I'm really having trouble, then I'm overheating and I can't control the stability, then I'll drop this. Yes. Or when I'm lazy, I don't want to be running around my ship, and I know I can have these opponents, then I'll put it like this. And don't touch these. Almost never. Especially not the weapons. Offense is the best defense. And I only touch this one. So when battle is over, I drop this immediately. Yeah, I do. I turn off my coolant to save coolant. I drop this. Yes, the ship will be slower. It will be. The pilot and the scientist can get the scrap, and the ship will not be overheating. It will be cooling down when you put it like this. It will. Or you have a bad ship. Maybe. Then drop it like that. I don't know. But you don't need full power when battle is over. No. You need peace, quiet, and thoughts. Alright. I guess that's engineer role. I don't know what else to say. If you want to drop the image, you want to drop the core, there's one mission you have to. It's actually not that hard. Overheat it, turn this one off as well, else you cannot overheat it, and as soon as it is overheated, you can eject it. Yes, and get the wasp. Oh no. Yeah, you'll need a distress signal, I think. Not quite sure. It's been a long time. So that was the engineer role. Any questions, please put it in comments or anything, and I will pick it up. Thank you for watching.